Hello everyone, today I'm going to be talking about worship, and we're going to be talking about a little bit about David's lifestyle. And I'm going to be reading to you from John 4 verse 24. It says, God is a spirit, a spiritual being, and those who worship him must worship him in spirit and in truth, in reality. A true worshiper is someone who can worship God no matter what the opposition is, no matter what trial, no matter what, is coming against their way. They can get into God's presence. And really, when I think of a true worshiper, the first person that comes to my mind is David, because he had some hellish experiences, to say the least. Okay, a man on the run, got himself into some sticky situations. But through it all, he was truly a man after God's own heart, because he knew that he needed God, and he just wanted to be in his presence. He didn't want anything to separate him from really reaching God's heart and touching him. He didn't want anything to hinder him really pressing into God, really getting everything that he wanted from God. So he would I like that one psalm where it tells a lot. He's like, search me, O Lord, and know me, and let there not be any wicked in my heart. David was such a man after God's own heart. Even despite all this stuff that he did, the reason why he was a man after God's own heart, because he admitted that he was wrong. And then he always, was so quick to ask for God's forgiveness. And he was always quick to forgive. And he went back into that place of worship. I think that's what's so beautiful, is like he went to that place of worship no matter what the opposition was. And we can live out of this place of just worship no matter what the persecution is. David did it. David got ridiculed by his own wife, okay, for dancing before the Lord. That was undignified, okay? It was not, dignified. It was undignified. That's why I love David's attitude. I'll become even more undignified than this. It's like, you ain't seen nothing yet. But, that's a true worshiper. A true worshiper doesn't care. A true worshiper doesn't care if they offend anybody, because you will offend people. I'm just gonna say this. You will offend people being a true worshiper, because it makes people feel uncomfortable. It really does. But this is the way I see it. God has done so much for me. He's taken me through so many awesome things. And he's set me free from so many things. I can't be quiet about that. I have to testify, because to testify is his goodness. To testify is his love. To testify brings him glory. And it's an act of worship. See, everything we do really is an act of worship. Our very serving is a worship. That's why we got to be careful what attitude we do that in too. But worship, I love it, because it's a time of intimacy with God. But I'm going to hit something. We shouldn't worship God when everything is just favorable for us and everything is going wonderful. Let me tell you, David worshiped God when it was unfavorable. What's our excuse? Seriously. Worship, I don't know about you, but sometimes it's all I got. Sometimes it's all I got, And sometimes, I'm just going to be honest, I don't feel like worshiping God. But then, after I just start worshiping him, just something about that presence, you can't resist it. And then eventually you start wanting to worship God. You know, it's no matter what the opposition is, no matter what the persecution is, worship God. Don't worship Him when everything is going the way you expected it to. No, that's not a true worshiper. That's not even really a worshiper. A true worshiper will worship God no matter what the persecution is. Why? Because they know their God is going to take them through the other side. A worshiper knows their God. So therefore, they're not afraid about anything. They're not afraid about tomorrow. Because they know the word of the Lord. About how God said that my plans are for you, plans to give you a hope for your future. Worshippers, they're hidden in the secret place. They got that Psalm 91 lifestyle. That's why the devil can't touch them. Because their whole body, their whole being is hidden in the secret place. There's a verse in Colossians, I don't know where right in the back of my head, but it talks about how we're hidden in Christ. Well, if we're hidden in the secret place, we're hidden in Christ. So see, Psalm 91 and that verse in Colossians, they go together, which is beautiful. Shouldn't our lives be a life of worship? And when I think of worship, I think of constantly laying our lives down, and I think of an overflow, and I think of like a water, you know, like a water jug just overflowing. That's what I think of a pure worshiper's lifestyle. And I think we get that way by just, you know, kneeling before the Father and saying, you know, I am nothing, but you are everything. I think when we get to that place, that's when we're walking in true humility. And when we're walking in true humility, then we're really becoming that worshiper that He's called us to be. God made us to worship Him. I mean, how beautiful is that? That God made us to worship Him. So why don't we give Him everything? Even if we don't feel like worshiping Him, let's worship. Let's give Him our all, even when we don't feel like it. Let's give Him the all. Why? Because He is still good. He is still on the throne. He sent Jesus to die for us. Jesus gave us life, life more abundant. So let's give Him praise even when we don't feel like it. Because of that, that is a testimony that we can worship Jesus. I love you guys. God bless. Bye.